The story begins in a time of great devastation. Long ago, Titans nearly wiped out humanity, leaving the world in complete ruin. To survive, people built massive protective walls and began living in constant fear. Yet, even in that fear, they clung to a faint glimmer of hope, sheltered behind those towering barriers. These colossal walls stood as their last line of defense against any future Titan attacks. Over 100 years had passed since then. And in that time, people gradually forgot the terror of the Titans. Their history became nothing more than a tale found in books, stories told to scare children. Despite their curiosity, no one dared to go near the walls, let alone cross them. The government had strictly forbidden any approach to the outer limits. So the people accepted a harsh life in confinement. The world inside the walls was divided into 3 distinct zones. The outermost region was home to farmers and peasants who lived through hard labor in the fields. The middle area housed industrial zones filled with factories. And the innermost area belonged to the elites, aristocrats who controlled the city. Movement between these zones was strictly forbidden. Among the commoners was a sharp-minded boy named Aaron. Living in the 3rd sector, Aaron couldn't bear the feeling of being caged like a prisoner. He dreamed of breaking free and exploring the world beyond the walls. He often shared this dream with his friends. Deep down, Aaron doubted whether the Titans even existed. He believed the people were hiding here out of fear, not reality. Aaron's male friend was just as intelligent as he was. However, peasants weren't allowed to conduct any kind of experiment. The government claimed that trying to achieve something on your own was a crime. There was also a girl named Mikasa, who had deep feelings for Aaron. She wished to live a peaceful life alongside him. One day, Aaron's friend bumped into a stranger on his way to meet Aaron, but brushed it off and didn't give it much thought. Aaron, on the other hand, often felt lucky just being near the wall. From there, he could see glimpses of the outside world. There was an old bomb machine there too, which made the place his favorite spot. Out of fear, no one else dared to go near it. This time, Aaron made up his mind. He would cross the wall no matter what. He persuaded his friends to join him in the attempt. Despite the strict military presence near the wall, they managed to sneak closer, avoiding detection. But before they could climb over, they were caught and arrested. Surprisingly, the military leader chose not to punish them. He had a soft spot for Aaron and recognized his intelligence and determination. He understood Aaron's desire to do something extraordinary. Just as they were talking, the ground began to shake violently. They looked up and couldn't believe what they saw. For the first time, they were face to face with pure terror. It was a monstrous Titan, far bigger and more powerful than anything they had imagined. This kind of Titan was known as a giant. The creature was covered in fire, towering higher than the wall itself. Flames poured from its body as it raised a massive foot and began to smash the wall apart. People were frozen in fear. The situation turned catastrophic as fire spread everywhere. The military leader immediately gave orders. He commanded the soldiers to attack using the bomb machine. But a soldier stops him, saying the government has strictly banned the use of explosives. After creating a massive hole, the giant Titan vanishes in an instant. It's the silence before the storm. Soon, the first wave of Titans enters through the hole. They resemble humans, but they're much larger, taller, stronger, and far more terrifying. They grin menacingly at the humans, seeing them only as prey. The leader manages to strike a few Titans with explosives. But what he didn't know, these creatures are nearly immortal. Their wounded flesh begins to regenerate instantly. Surrounded and outnumbered, the Titans close in. Humans look like mere ants in front of these towering monsters. To the Titans, people are nothing more than toys or snacks. They grab and eat them like helpless animals. Many soldiers, overwhelmed by fear, choose to take their own lives, rather than be devoured alive. The city descends into chaos. People are either trampled in the crowd or eaten by Titans. There's only one place left for shelter, the city's massive hall. People rush toward it in a frenzy, pushing and shoving to get inside. Aaron and Mikasa join the stampede in search of safety. As they approach, Mikasa notices a mother and baby stranded outside. Moved with compassion, she turns back to help them. Meanwhile, the crowd pulls Aaron into the hall. Before he realizes, the doors slam shut behind him. Eren panics and tries to open them, but the people stop him, fearing the Titans. Outside, Mikasa holds the baby tightly as a Titan draws near. Eren, powerless and paralyzed with fear, watches in horror. The Titan devours both Mikasa and the baby. Suddenly, an eerie silence settles over the area. Eventually, Eren forces his way out of the hall. What he sees shatters him. Titans now surround the hall, trapping those who sought refuge. They rip open the ceiling and begin feasting on everyone inside. Blood floods the floor as screams echo through the air. Devastated and enraged, Eren walks away from the destruction, heading into the city. 2 years later, the scene shifts to the industrial sector of the walled city. This area remained safe during the last attack, protected by a reinforced wall. Survivors from the previous disaster had also taken shelter here. The Titans, however, still roamed the third section, the agricultural zone. Now overcrowded, the industrial zone began facing a severe food shortage. Starvation spreads, and people begin to die from hunger. For the remaining survivors in the third zone, there was only one path forward: to reclaim their land by confronting the Titans directly. The military prepared a special unit trained to face the Titans. These recruits endured 2 years of intense training. Eren and his friend joined, determined to avenge Mikasa's death. Eren blamed himself. He had failed to save her. Their leader, Commander Kubble, devised a daring plan. They would move under cover of darkness to seal the breach in the wall, the very hole through which the Titans had entered. The idea was to destroy the upper edge of the wall opening with explosives. As a result, debris would fall and block the passage. If successful, the Titans would no longer be able to enter. This mission was their last hope. They would either succeed or die trying. Before the mission, a commanding officer introduces a new weapon system, gear that would allow soldiers to fly through the air. They had discovered that Titans could be killed by attacking the back of the neck. A precise strike there would stop regeneration and end them for good. Armed with this new knowledge and technology, the unit sets off at night. But before reaching their destination, they notice something strange in the distance. They pause, sensing something might be wrong. At first, they think it's nothing more than the sound of cows. Suddenly, one of the female soldiers hears the faint sound of a crying baby. She panics, thinking a child is nearby and in danger. The female soldier moves forward to help the crying baby. Eren follows closely behind her. But when they reach the source of the sound, they make a horrifying discovery. The baby is not human, but a Titan spawn. The grotesque infant reaches out to grab them but slips and falls to the ground, wailing in frustration. Its cries echo far and wide, awakening all nearby Titans. Soon, dozens of them begin converging on their location. Now surrounded, they find themselves in serious danger. To make things worse, their selfish commander, Kubble, flees the scene in an armored vehicle, abandoning them to the Titans. Eren's friend is snatched up by a Titan. Just when it seems too late, another soldier arrives in time to save him. But the group is now completely surrounded. Escape seems impossible. At that moment, a powerful figure appears, Shikishima, a legendary Titan hunter. He strikes down 10 to 15 Titans single-handedly. Fighting alongside him is a bold female soldier, Mikasa. Yes, Mikasa is alive. Together, they use their weapons skillfully to eliminate the attacking Titans. After securing the area, they continue their journey to the breach in the wall as planned. But what stuns Eren the most is Mikasa's cold behavior. She shows no emotion toward him. She's focused only on revenge and seems to have buried her past feelings. Mikasa reveals that Shikishima rescued her from the Titan who had swallowed her. He taught her how to fight Titans and revealed a crucial truth. The key to defeating Titans is to attack without hesitation or fear. Fear, he says, is the true enemy. It's not the Titans that cause humans to run. It's their own fear that defeats them. Suddenly, Kubble returns. He explains that the high-powered weapons they were meant to use in the operation weren't at their original location. Instead, they were hidden inside underground tunnels. Kubble claims he left earlier to recover the explosives before a suspected thief could steal them. He argues the weapons were too valuable to risk losing. The soldiers begin loading cannons to resume the operation. but the loud sounds attract nearby titans. In the chaos, two people are swallowed instantly. The group is thrown into confusion, but Cubble is still fixated on protecting the explosives. As feared, the thief manages to steal a vehicle carrying those explosives. But before he can escape, a woman, whose husband had been devoured by titans, chases down the vehicle and smashes into it in rage. She sets the vehicle on fire and drives it straight into a group of titans to avenge her husband. A massive explosion follows. But to everyone's shock, the titans survive. Even their final weapon has failed. Cubble disappears once again, leaving the rest to fend for themselves. The team is now completely trapped. Eren seems to have disappeared in the chaos. But he remembers Shikishima's words about rage and courage. Fueled by fury, Eren charges forward, confronting the titans head-on. In the process, he manages to take down several titans. But he loses one of his legs in the fight. One of the titans grabs his friend. The others desperately try to save him before he's devoured. Despite being badly wounded, Eren rises again. Even though he feels like a failure, he pushes forward with everything he has. Just in time, Eren saves his friend from the Titan's grasp. But he sacrifices one of his arms in doing so. A moment later, a Titan grabs Eren and swallows him whole. Inside the Titan's body, Eren feels himself slowly being digested. Watching helplessly, Mikasa breaks down. She lashes out, attempting to avenge Eren. But her maneuvering gear fails mid-flight. She crashes and is now face to face with the same Titan. Just as it's about to devour her, the Titan suddenly recoils in pain. Something is wrong. Then, in an explosive moment, a new giant monster rips through the Titan from the inside. This new creature starts destroying every Titan in sight with unmatched power. Everyone watches in disbelief. But soon, they realize this isn't just another Titan. It's Eren. He had somehow transformed into a Titan himself. But after unleashing his fury, Eren's Titan body begins to weaken. He starts to collapse like the other defeated Titans. At that moment, a commander who knew Eren's potential says something cryptic. Cut his nape. No one understands at first, but Mikasa acts immediately. She slices open the nape of Eren's Titan form, and Eren emerges from within. The most astonishing thing: his lost leg and arm have completely regenerated. Everyone stands frozen in shock at what they've just witnessed. Shikishima smirks quietly, as if he already knew this would happen. Then the film shows a flashback revealing a critical truth. Eren's father was a scientist. One day, he injects young Eren with a mysterious serum, and the commander is present during the process. Eren's mother objects, begging them not to go through with it. But they insist, one day, Eren will play a vital role in saving humanity. At that moment, government officers knock at the door. Eren's father quickly hides both Eren and the commander in a hidden room. Among the officers is Cubble. They accuse Eren's father of carrying out illegal experiments. Since peasants are forbidden from inventing or conducting any kind of scientific research. As punishment, Eren's parents are arrested, and their experimental records are destroyed in a fire. This is why the commander supported Eren. He knew that the serum had made Eren humanity's best chance at survival. Back in the present, Eren regains consciousness only to find himself in Cubble's custody. He's stunned to learn that he transformed into a Titan. But he also feels pride. This ability could help him protect others. However, Cubble sees Eren as a threat and decides to imprison him. He believes people should live behind the walls in fear, with no desire to invent or experiment. When the commander tries to defend Eren, Cubble shoots and kills him. But before dying, the commander reveals one last truth. Cubble was the one who murdered Eren's parents. Upon hearing this, Eren and his allies turn against Cubble. Suddenly, a powerful Titan appears, leaping into the scene. He grabs Eren and charges through anyone in his path. The others try to stop him, but he's unstoppable. He even targets Eren's friend, but Mikasa intervenes. Strangely, the Titan seems to recognize Mikasa's voice. He pauses, then retreats, carrying Eren with him. In the chaos, Cubble is killed in battle. Without Eren, the group feels lost. But then Eren's friend remembers, the last remaining bomb. They can still complete the mission. Everyone heads toward the location where the bomb was stored. Meanwhile, Eren wakes up in a strange, industrial chamber. Shikishima is there, waiting for him. It's here that Shikishima begins to reveal the truth. The Titans are actually transformed human beings. And they were not created by enemies, but by Eren's own father. The Titans were meant to be military weapons, but the experiment failed. A virus spread uncontrollably, turning more people into Titans. That virus continues to infect humanity even now. Worse, Titans don't need to eat to survive. They are effectively immortal. Eren's father was the only one who knew how to stop them, and that knowledge died with him. Had the government not suppressed his research, a solution might have been found. Knowing the future depended on it, Eren's father injected his own son. Eren is now immortal, able to transform into a Titan whenever needed. Shikishima then reveals he is also against the government. He was the one behind the attempted theft of the explosives. Inspired by Shikishima's words, Eren agrees to help. Elsewhere, Eren's friends retrieve the bomb, managing to evade Titans along the way. They load the bomb onto a transport and head for the wall. But they are stopped midway by Shikishima. He reveals his true plan, to destroy the second district using the bomb. This, he claims, will force the people to rise up against the government and confront the Titans. Once the wall falls, there'll be no choice but to fight. And when the government falls, humanity will finally be free. But Eren and the others refuse to go along with the plan. Too many innocent people would die. A fierce argument breaks out. Then, without warning, Shikishima shoots himself and transforms into a Titan. It turns out Shikishima had the same power as Eren. He was the Titan who previously carried Eren away. Those who become Titans through injection must sacrifice themselves to transform. Their Titan forms are controlled from their nape. But unlike the virus-born Titans, these injected forms are temporary. They eventually die. A brutal battle begins between Eren and Shikishima. At first, Shikishima dominates the fight. But Eren taps into his willpower and finally overcomes him. Following the original plan, Eren carries the bomb to the top of the wall. Just then, another shocking truth is revealed. Kubble is still alive. He declares that Eren must be handed over to him. He insists that humans should live behind walls, crippled by fear. But one of the female soldiers, enraged by everything that's happened, shoots and kills Kubble. Then, they realize the giant Titan from the beginning of the story was Kubble himself. Now, transformed again, Kubble returns as a giant to stop them. In a surprising twist, Shikishima sides with Eren. He throws himself into Kubble's Titan form, carrying the bomb into its mouth. The bomb explodes. Kubble's Titan form is obliterated, and the breach in the wall is sealed by the rubble. Their mission is finally complete. They have won. At last, Eren and Mikasa stand at the edge of the sea, watching the waves crash and birds fly overhead. The dream they once thought was impossible has come true. And with that, this epic story comes to an end.